Okidoki. Tun, 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 tururu. ¿Qué onda ya? Pero aguántame tantito. Ah, pero no cambié el logotipo. Bueno, ya ni modo. Lo voy a compartir así y ya ahorita lo cambio. A ver. Sí, no, hasta hay que cambiarlo. Ok. Bueno, supongo que ya se echó a perder. Bueno, no importa. El caso es que estoy aprendiendo Python. Ah, ni siquiera estoy logueado. A ver. Espérame tantito. Ah, ok, ya. Bueno. Ah, vamos a... ¿Qué pasó? Creo que ya no veo nada. ¿Quién sabe qué tiene esta cosa? Anyway. ¿Dónde está mi teléfono? Según yo voy a poner el... Oh, oh, no. Salir. ¿Qué está abriendo? Otra vez, ¿no? Salir. Salte. Salir. Y dale, güey. Le vale Mauser. Y te dije que no. Salir. Bueno. Today we are going to continue with the course. Just a little note here. Let me verify something first. An important note here is that I decided to yesterday I was watching the course offline of I was watching the course off stream, so I watched regular expressions chapter here, section 14, section 15, testing in Python. Section 16, career as a Python developer, and I began scripting with Python. I was overviewing the course here. It has some interesting things here, but I actually watched the Twitter API project here. So I watched those videos. I tried to do something here yesterday, but I wasn't successful. I believe that the Twitter... What? It's not responding. What happened? I believe that Twitter... there we go. Just a retweet. Never mind. I'm pretty sure that those retweets come from bots, so I was trying to do something similar yesterday, but I wasn't successful. I tried the Twitter developer. But yesterday the sign up button was not working out. this is what happens. So basically, I try to sign up. I am logged in. I am logged in with my Twitter account. Yet I am unable to sign up for the Twitter developer website. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. So I cannot complete the tutorials or follow the videos. Anyway, so yesterday at night I was able to get in contact with Jessica Garzon. I sent her a video with my issue here, and I hope she can help me. She said, thanks, we faced something similar before. Okay, I guess. So far, I guess I know that fixing things, especially in production, is not fast. At least I got in contact with somebody on Twitter, and I hope that they can do something about it. Anyway, so what's the plan for today? I'm going to check out again regular expressions and testing in Python, because I believe those are really important, especially testing in Python. I'm going to rewatch these videos here and code, because since I was just watching the videos yesterday on my comfy bed, I wasn't in front of my computer, so I was not coding anything, and so the learning process is not going to be complete until I code something. You know, it's not just watching the videos. I need to do actual code. But first, we need to update the remote repo, I think. Let me see. It's okay. Python, okay. Push everything. Okay, so section 13 is already complete. I may like to go to GitLab. Learning Python. There we go. And now I wonder if two branches here. There must be a link to the merge request. 0 merge request. I guess I can create one. A new merge request from section 13. Compare into main. Okay, compare branches and continue. Here we are. So we have, I'm going to squash the commits. Let's just read out a little bit. 23 hours ago. So around this time was my last commit. So it's been 24 hours. Wow, interesting. It's midday already. Okay, create merge request. Okay, it's going to squash the commits and delete the source branch. Merge. And there we go. I only had one branch already. And here we have our source files. Okay. So now, my terminal, on my local copy, I need to cd GitLab maybe. I am on Git alone? Okay. I am on section 13. On the main. And now git pull. And there we go. And that's it. That's all I need. Okay, so let's delete section 13 branch. git checkout and B and the name of the branch. I'm not going to name it the name of the section because I'm going to be completing 2 sections today, regular expressions and testing in Python. The section 16 is just commentary videos, basically. The author is just recommending what can we do once we get up until this part of the course. And I guess that from this point onward, from section 16, we are going to be seeing here implementation of Python code, not just so basically we are not learning syntax from Python or per se. We are basically learning doing projects. We have here handling images with Python, converting JPEG to PNG in Python, OpenCV, I don't know what that is, PDF with Python, PDF merger, watermarker, a lot of things. What else can we do? Hash functions, password checkers, and the one that I'm very interested in is the TweetPy API. And I tried to do this, but I was unable. Yeah, I'm not able to fix this. So yeah, scraping data with Python. I wonder how. Web scraping. Oh, okay. So this is web scraping. Web development with Python. That's another thing. Flask. I worked with Flask before for making RESTful APIs. So automation and testing. Selenium. I did Google Selenium first, and it seems like Selenium is a library that allows me to log in into websites as a user and basically automate tasks, including websites, basically. Well, that's what I Googled. I haven't watched this, but automation and testing sounds like it's not going to be web scraping like before, because we have scraping data with Python, and here is web scraping. Automation testing. We have section overview, Selenium introduction, okay, automation. What else? Machine learning and data science. This is one of the subjects I am interested in. I'm going to put much attention to that one. Where to go from here? Another where to go section here. So if you get here, I guess you just open yourselves to more things to learn or to do. And it seems like a goodbye chapter, several goodbye chapters. Extra bits, an appendix for HTML forms, and a bonus section with just a bonus lecture here. And that's it. So basically the last chapter is going to be 21, machine learning and data science. And there is not, I guess it's, I haven't seen anything, but I guess it's not going to be AI here for any chance. It says AI, machine learning and data science, how machine learning works and so forth. Okay, so I guess machine learning and artificial intelligence are subjects way too complex to be seen in a single section. So, but I appreciate the effort of putting this as an overview, and probably I'm going to be working my way up to learn actual AI. So what's the plan for today? It's going to be regular expressions again, then testing in Python. And after this, I may like to review a lynda.com course that is, I wonder if it exists, but I have it downloaded, about unit test. And it makes more sense because these videos don't really explain how unit testing works, but it gives me an introduction to unit testing with Python. And if I combine this with the unit testing course that I have, then I'm going to be able to write unit tests And this is one of my areas of opportunity here, because unit testing is pretty much like having a robot testing out your own code. So I'm going to delegate code testing to a robot, basically, that I'm going to develop. And this robot is going to basically do all the work for me for testing purposes. And I'm basically testing my code out. It's going to allow me to have resilient code, which is one of the things that I really appreciate in code. So let's start out. Where's my headphone? Okay. Oh wait, I forgot about my phone. Where's my phone? So okay. So I'm looking for my phone because I'm going to be using my Pomodoro app, and I need that. Okay, let me see. This is going to be my Pomodoro app. Samsung Flow. Yeah, you had to love Samsung Flow. What? There we go. Okay. Okay, there we go. So let's see. Okay, we're on the cloud now. Oh, wait. What? I don't need a Wi-Fi connection. What's going on? Smart view. I guess since I'm using the base, probably I lost connection briefly. Okay. Okay, so this is my phone, isn't it? What is going on? Okay, never mind. Let's try again. And there we go. That should be working now.
Let's talk about regular expressions. Now, regular expressions aren't unique to Python. As a matter of fact, you see them all over programming languages. But I'm going to teach you regular expressions just quickly because they are very useful, especially when you're doing, let's say, validation, like checking that somebody has entered the right email, or you have password requirement, or you want to check if a piece of string exists in a piece of text. So,
wait a minute. So yeah, I was going to create a new branch. Well, we can say here And unit testing. Yeah, why not? What? Wait. Oh, never mind. I mess up. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hit checkout. Let's make regular expression and unit testing. It's a long ass name, but it's going to be enough. Okay. Okay.
This is something that we're going to explore in this video. Regular expressions. What are they? Well, luckily for us, Python comes with a regular expression module. Remember, regular expressions aren't Python specific. You can use them pretty much in any language, but they're very useful for finding things in a piece of text. So let's say we have a string here, and we can say string search inside of this text, please. There we go. Now, let's say I wanted to search for something here. First of all, could I do something like this? Could I say search in string? Let's print here. And if I click run, I get true. And this is a simple way for us to search something inside of a string. So why do we even need regular expressions? Well, regular expressions are a little bit more powerful than just this, because maybe we want to search how many times search occurs in the string, or maybe we have a complicated string. Let me show you what I mean. The way we use something like regular expressions is using this format. So I can say re dot, and then in here use search. And as you can see here, we give it a pattern and a string and some flags. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So all we need to say is, what pattern do you want to do? Well, I want to search if this exists in the string. So I can say this, and then give it the actual string.
That's a pattern. It's not just a string. It's true.
Well, let's print out what happens here. So let's do print. I click run. All right. I get what I call a match object. A regular expression gives us an output, not just true or false, but an actual object that tells us a little bit more information about this. And you can see over here, one of the information is the
it has a lot of data.
In the string. It occurs at index of 17 and ends at index of 21. So that's really useful. Let's store this information and just say a here. So what can we do with this match object? Well, the first thing we can do is to check what we have. So we have, first of all, span, which we've seen. And if I run this, it tells me where the string occurs as a tuple. So index of 17 to index of 21. I can also do start, and start, well, tells me when the text starts. And I can also do group, or actually, I can also do end to show me where it ends. And then I can also do group. And group returns the part of the string where there was the match. And let's say there was another this in here. If I click run, you see that, well, it only gives me that piece of, or part of the string that there was the match. Now, group is really useful when we're trying to do multiple searches. So in our case, we are just doing one search. So we have a pattern that we're trying to match. But there's ways that we can do multiple searches within the one line. But before I show you that, what happens if we do something that doesn't exist, such as this with a capital S? If I click run.
Yes, we're not going to find it.
Because now A is going to be none. Because if the regular expression doesn't find anything, it's going to return none. So it's either going to return a match object or none. Now, how can we make this more advanced? Well, one thing we can do is to create a pattern that we want to check for. So let's say pattern here. And this pattern, we're going to use regular expression.compile. And the compile is going to allow us to give, just like we did here, a pattern. So let's say in here, I simply want to check for this. Now, this pattern I can use, instead of just doing re.search, I can just use the pattern now to do the search for me. So again, if I run this, well, now I don't have to pass it this. I need to just pass it the string that we want to search.
Because he's using the pattern.
Is being captured. And I can use pattern now everywhere, multiple times. So let's say I can do pattern dot all the methods that we have. We have quite a lot, actually. Let me show you some of the useful ones. We have find all, which finds all the instances of the match. So let's say in here, B, and click run. Look at that. I have this
2 times.
And this.
Nice.
So I get both instances of this inside of a list. I can also do something like full match. And full match, well, making sure that everything matches fully. So if I click run here, let's print C here, click run. I get none because I don't get a full match. In order for a full match to return the match, it has to be the exact string that we're searching. So if I click run, there you go. I get a match object now. Now let's say I have a question mark in here instead of an exclamation mark. If I click run, it's none. If I have exclamation mark and then maybe something else afterwards, I still get none. We also have another option, which is match. And match, as you can see, matches 0 or more characters at the beginning of the string. So if I do string here and I print D, well, actually, let me change this up. Let's do here, Andre, in the string that we're actually comparing. And if I click run, I still get a match object versus if I do C, which uses a full match, which gives me a none because, well, we only want an exact match here versus a match that matches the string and then doesn't care what comes afterwards. So this is extremely useful. But up until now, I mean, we get a couple of methods that we can use, which are quite useful, but this doesn't seem that powerful. Why do all languages have regular expressions? Why do we really care? Well, in the next video, we're going to explore this idea of pattern and how we can do some really advanced patterns. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Wait. And by the way, am I autoplaying? No, I don't want to. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to code that one, maybe experiment a little bit. I am on new branch. No, wrong button. Let's create a section. Where am I? Section 14th. Section 14th. Regular expressions. Uh, 1401. Example. Obviously, I'm going to make this a little bigger. Oh. Let's take a look at the code. Import RE. I guess that's the import for regular expressions. It's creating a variable called pattern where I'm going to store whatever the compile method from the RE library or module is going to give me. RE compile, search this inside of this text, please. Okay. So re.compile. I need to add a pattern here, flags, compile a regular expression pattern, returning a pattern object. Okay, perfect. Search this inside this text, please. Okay. I think he's just he used this quite literally at the beginning. Yeah. In order to make the full match, I guess this is the example for the full match. And the string. Now this is search this inside of this text, please. Oh, wait. Is that it? Yeah. And now the examples. The first one is A, pattern search string. I call the object, don't search. Oh, nice. And I just say this. And I guess I print A, I guess. Let's see, what does it do? Okay, it's returning me the object. It is making a match, and it's starting on 0, finishing in 4. Match this. So it's telling me, yeah, because I guess it's in 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think so. It spans 0 to 4. Yeah, I may like to rewatch the video for an explanation for that part. The match is this. Okay, next example. Pattern find all string. Okay. So this, I guess, is going to find all the instances. There we go. Name error, B is not defined. Why not? Did I just copy and paste and didn't change anything? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not defined. Never mind. There we go. So it's finding this once. What is the other one then? This is the string. This is the pattern. And I had once here and another one here. Pattern, find all, and this. Oh, wait. No, never mind. I understand now. Because I need to send the string here. Pattern is... Oh, never mind then. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Because it's looking into... This is the string that is actually doing the searches. So that's why, yeah, I'm wrong. Never mind. Okay, that's why I was not getting the values. There we go. Now we're talking. Span between 7 and 11, I'm finding the first this. And it's returning a list with the two objects that it found. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's see the other example. Pattern full match string. Okay. So I guess it's going to be C. Pattern full match. And I'm going to write down this string directly so I can skip. So I can just do this and it's going to work and I don't need to change anything else. There we go. Now I'm getting a span on 0 to 4 and the match is this. Pattern match the string. What is that gonna do? Now let's see. Oh wait, is this going to work? Because I think I am overwriting a string. Well, it's working here. Okay, let's print D. None. Why not? It should be matching something.
Let's say I have a question mark in here instead of an exclamation mark. If I click run, it's none. If I have exclamation mark and then maybe something else afterwards, I still get none. We also have another option, which is match. And match, as you can see, matches 0 or more characters at the beginning of the string.
Oh, okay.
So if I do string here and I print D, well, actually, let me change this up. Let's do here, Andre, in the string that we're actually comparing. And if I click run, I still get a match object versus if I do C, which uses a full match, which gives me a none because, well, we only want an exact match here versus a match that matches the string and then doesn't care what comes afterwards.
So let me see. If I'm printing D, he's getting pattern match string, pattern match string. I should be getting something, isn't it? But I'm getting none. Why? Okay, let's see. Match. Okay, what do you do? It's going to return either none or the match. But I'm not getting anything. I guess because I need it to be like this, maybe. Pretty much the same thing. It's still none. The text on the... Well, I guess I should change it to this. There we go. I'm getting a match. It's returning an object. So what's the difference between match and a string then?
Making sure that everything matches fully. So if I click run here,
A full match. Yeah.
I get none because I don't get a full match. In order for a full match to return the match, it has to be the exact string that we're searching. So if I click run,
okay.
There you go. I get a match object now. Now let's say I have a question mark in here instead of an exclamation mark. If I click run,
it's not a full match.
If I have exclamation mark and then maybe something else afterwards,
not a match.
We also have another option, which is match. And match, as you can see, matches 0 or more characters at the beginning.
At the beginning of the string. So as long as the beginning starts the same.
Actually, let me change this up. Let's do it here, Andre, and the string that we're actually comparing.
Okay.
I still get a match object versus if I do C, which uses a full match.
I get it.
Which gives me a none because
we
only want an exact match here. Versus a match that matches the string and then doesn't care what comes afterwards. So this is extremely useful. But up until now, I mean, we get a couple of methods that we use, which are quite useful, but this doesn't seem that powerful. Why do all languages have regular expressions? Why do we really care? Well, in the next video, we're going to explore this idea of pattern and how we can do some really advanced patterns. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
If I do this, that should give me a match. There we go. It's giving me a match. Because it's at the start of the string. Okay, get it. That's enough. I'm planning to go to watch. I'm going to watch the new Avengers movie from Doctor Strange. I'm going later today. Who knows? I've been told it's a good movie, so I actually want to see that one. Okay, so the next one is going to be regular expressions too. Okay, let's see.
Welcome back. Up until now, we've found just simple patterns, simple text patterns in our string. Nothing too crazy. But where regular expressions become really useful is for advanced patterns. You see, with regular expressions, you can do some crazy patterns like, let's say, this. And this looks like complete gibberish, right? But this means something in regular expression.
Yeah, it's validate an email.
Language in itself, with different patterns that you use to find patterns inside of text.
I use it a lot in databases.
Regular expression is really, really complicated. As a programmer, I don't expect you to learn all these patterns. You can see some of them here. We have special sequences that mean something, like /d returns a match where the string contains digits, number from 0 to 9. We have things like sets over here, where if you type in a regular expression this, it returns a match for any characters, alphabetically between A and Z, whether they're lowercase or uppercase. So there's all these little shortcuts and tricks that you can write in a regular expression. And things can get really, really complicated. So nobody actually memorizes these things. You develop them as the need arises. And as a matter of fact, later on in the videos, we'll do an exercise where we'll actually experiment with this and create a password checker and an email check. Now, one of the tools that I really, really like is called regex101.com. It's super, super useful. All you do is we'll pick Python, and it'll give you regular expressions and a testing ground for you to test. For example, if I wrote something like, hey, how are you? I can now enter regular expression here and try things out. So for example, if I type in, hey, how are you? Well, this doesn't really work. Maybe I can add some quotes around here. But nope. And it actually gives you some options and information as to what you can use. So for example, let's say we wanted to check if, well, right here, a character in a range A to Z or A to Z. If I copy this and I paste it in, look at that. It gives me the matches that I have. In this case, I am checking to see, hey, does it match any character between A to Z, both lowercase and capitalized? Everything is matching right now. You see over here that we have match 1, match 2, match 3, so on and so forth.
Spaces are not matching.
So I can do brackets here. And now this is the first
single
and then
group.
I can do something else here. Let's say in here I want, let's say anything that is A. So what does it mean here? Well, I have an explanation on the right hand side. The first capturing group says, hey, match a single character present in the list below. So it tells you A to Z, capital A to Z. And then the second capturing group is, hey, match a single character present in the list below, which is A. Now in here, I have two capturing groups. So the first capturing group and then the second capturing group. If I add a dot here, which is a special meaning in regular expression, if I hover over it, you see that it matches any character.
Any character.
So what am I doing here? Well, I'm first have, hey, I want you to check for the first capturing group, which is any single character in the range between A to Z. And then after that, I want any character. And then after that, I want you to search, well, for any matches of A. So this is what we match for. We match W because we're looking for any letter, and then a space or any character, and then an A.
An A.
So now we have a full match, which is W to A.
That's a full match. Group 1.
Which is W because it matches the first group, and then group 2, which matches the A. Now, I know this is confusing. Regular expressions is one of those things that it's
really confusing
at first. So let me show you how we can use it.
Looks like gibberish.
Generator here. You'll see that I can actually just, well, give you a sample code that you can use in Python. But what I like doing is actually copying this piece of text, like this, and going back to our code editor, and in the compile,
there we go.
Paste it in. Now you'll notice that there's an R here, and R stands for a raw string.
Raw string.
Python, something like a slash, backslash has a special meaning, remember? With backslashes, we can do special things like line or tab. And R says, hey, this is a raw string. Ignore everything that Python interpreter might interpret. I want this to just be a pure string. So you'll see this a lot with regular expression.
Okay.
Now, if I run this code, you see that I have SEA here. Again, it's because I am searching for a letter, followed by anything, followed by A.
It's printing a group.
A group here, which I'm searching through. If I do group 1,
A, group 1.
Group 2,
Nothing.
I get A,
A.
just like we did in our playground here.
Mm-hmm.
Another useful thing is
W.
in here.
Okay.
If you look at the quick reference, you can actually search for things. So let's say I wanted to check if a test string has maybe starts with. So I can type in start here, and you can see here that, it gives me a quick reference. So if I do start of string, it shows me, hey, use this character and it'll help you do start of string. So if I do, let's say, in here, this caret and say, hey, look at that. It matches it for me. So it says, hey, assert position at the start of the line. It explains exactly here how it works, and it tells me that I have a full match here. Now, most of the time, the way you'll be using regular expressions isn't like this. It would actually be quite hard if you're just figuring everything out yourself. Like I said, nobody really memorizes these things. You can see that we have quick references with common tokens that you can look through and understand. But a more practical way of actually learning about regular expressions is to see a real life use case. Now, I'm going to leave some exercises for you that you can do if you want to learn about some of the common patterns. From my experiences, this is not something that anybody's going to ask you about in an interview. You don't really have to memorize regular expressions. You just need to know what they do. So try the exercises if you want. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video to show you exactly how you would use regular expressions in a real life scenario. I'll see you.
Well, in the website that he's handling here, it's regex101.com. Is that the name? There we go. Let's pick out Python. And let's try with an email. Something like that. So I think that he's actually going to validate email. Let's check a regular expression to validate emails in Python. It's this one. Let's put it here. Well, I don't need again the R. So this is going to validate emails. So what about Jorge@gmail.com? There we go. So every single time that I'm getting matches, it's telling me, okay, this is the first match, this is the second match. I wonder what happens when they are pretty much the same. Nah, I need to separate them. What about this? There we go, that works. So basically I'm getting all the emails from this text file. And I can put a large list of, who knows, it may be a web scraped text file with a lot of email content here. And getting out the emails manually is going to take some time. So with this, I might just choose, let's say, if I go back to my example here, and if I save it as regular expressions, email. Let's change the time code. And I'm going to compile it as, well, this is the text. So, well, first I need more space over here. Thank you. So this is the text I'm going to be comparing. And here I need to put my raw string. And I need this over here. Why is red? I wonder if this is going to fail. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to try out, maybe I need to replace this for double quotes, but I'm not sure. The pattern is going to compile this. This is the pattern to be used. This is the string. Pattern search. I wonder what does search do? Find matches. Maybe match. There we go. Whoa, rest. 5 minutes, I guess. I wonder if my Nintendo Switch. Oh yeah, I was playing that. Oh, I was reading the combos. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, so we have regular combos up until interior power mode. Inner power mode. Okay, is what do I do? X, then Y, then I activate it with X, Then I press Y to attack, I guess. And then hit L plus B. And set L plus X. Set X. Oh, okay, I guess. Okay, let's try that. Oh, whoa. Okay, let's try it out. Wait, I'm doing something wrong. Okay, so I activate it with X. I do this. Then I need set L plus B. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, this is closer. Okay, but this is wasting my... Yeah, it's wasting my power. Never mind. So what do I do here? Okay, I need to activate. Okay. What now? Well, I don't need to find anything else on this world, on this mission. So all the secrets are already discovered. So I can focus just on making money here. Oh, there's a Giga Clan member. Woo! Nope. And another question, how many times for the biggest combo? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then X. 6X. 1, 2, oh wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then... Whoa! Okay. Watch it. And he's dead now. You must be very careful because they take a lot of damage here. So I need to find another guardian, is it? There we go. The good thing is that I don't really have a time limit here, so I can play the entire mission with Zelda and get more weapons. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Oh. Yeah, the camera is really bad near the walls. That's a really big issue I have. No. Too late. And he's dead.
La victoria es mía.
There we go. Next one. Oh. The break is over. Going back to work. Okay, so the idea here is to match this string containing emails with the email validator or the email pattern. That should be enough. You are 2. And there we go. We got a match. I think we have an option to get all the matches because I only get in the first one. So I wonder, match all? No. Pattern dot match find all. There we go. Or full match? No. Match is just giving me the first one. Is that it? Let's try find all. There we go. I get in a list with all the emails on the text file. This is going to be very useful for email gathering, you know. Or maybe you just want to find all the prices on a website, so you can make a bot that is going to browse the values of the prices on all the products on a shopping website. And you may have if you combine this with a database, and you may begin to basically sort out where make you get the best prices on every single product, and maybe even basically ask to each individual supplier for certain products, and not depend on the price, whatever price they are giving to you for every single product. That may be a thing. In Mexico, we have this Chedraui store. I believe it's this one. No. It's this one because it's really slow. Oh my God. Okay. I don't think this is Chedraui. chedraui.com.mx. So I have this website, right? So what if I want to get the list of the let's say here are the categories. Let's just say meat and birds. Let's try. So I'm getting all of these prices in all of these products. So what if I want to get a database, and maybe I want to scrap all of this data and fill out my own database with all the prices? Probably evaluating, well, this is meat, so maybe this is not the ideal category for this. But my idea would be, let's say something like this, maybe. I think this is grocery store. There we go. So we have a list of products. And here, I may even compare prices among, maybe even if I'm not finding the exact same product here, but I can see, well, even here, I can find a lot of promotions here that I may use. So there is a lot of things that I can do here. So maybe combining this with Selenium and Python, I can gather a list of products, fill out a database, compare prices among different shops, maybe Walmart and Chedraui and whatnot. Probably doing something more elaborate, more sophisticated maybe. But anyway. You went a few hours learning Runges, detail, okay, let's see. For making exercises. I'd rather just do something useful anyway.
Welcome back. Up until now, we talked about regular expressions quite loosely. And I mean, you should understand that it helps us match different things together. But the problem is, well, how can I really apply this to real life scenarios? Well, a good use case is perhaps when you're collecting emails. Maybe you're creating a startup. This startup wants to collect, let's say, emails of interested customers. Now, we want to make sure that whoever is interested in our startup enters proper email addresses, right? Because we don't want anybody to fill our databases or our Excel sheets with random words. We want to make sure that something is a correct email. Otherwise, it says, hey, this is not a correct email. Please try again. And regular expression is a great thing to use for validation and just making sure that whatever a user inputs or whatever another machine inputs into your code is in the correct form. So let me show you an example of how I would do this. Let's say I want to do an email validation. Well, the first thing I would do is simply type in Python email validation regex. And here you see here that we have a lot, how to check for valid email addresses. And pretty much the first couple of answers are going to be what you're looking for. I like this one, email address, regular expression that works 99.99% of the time. That's good enough for me. So in here, you see that we have some idea of what we can use. If I scroll down, looks like we have regular expression for different languages. All right, let's do Python. I'm simply going to copy this. And now in here, let's go to our regular expression 101 and just copy this in here.
I already did
Now,
that
I get
one.
an error because you see here that the R is already included because I selected Python here. So let's just remove
Yeah.
brackets. Again, if we hover over here, it's going to tell us about each thing that it's trying to do. And we also have the explanation. So this is how I like using regular expression. I find something online that people have used in the past. I don't try to reinvent the wheel and then try to understand it. So just to test this out, if I type in an email address here, look at that. I get a match.
It's going to
I get a
work.
full match and it matches the group one. Let's go one by one. First, I see that I have the brackets. So this is the capturing group. I'm trying to capture one data point. If, let's say, I enter another email here, that's not going to capture it. If I go like this, it's not going to capture it because, well, we're looking for one capturing group. Okay, next I see that it's asserting a position at the start of the line. So the start of the line, we want to make sure that it captures this. So it matches a single character present in a set. So this email can be anything. It could be letters, it could be numbers, and then finally it could be underscore. It could have a dot in there, it could have plus, it could have minus, and then finally plus is a quantifier. So it matches between 1 and unlimited times. So this string can be as long as I want, and it's still going to work. It's going to accept plus, minus, it's going to accept underscore, but it's not going to accept an exclamation
No.
because it's not in here.
It's not in there.
So that's good. What about next? Well, the next part is the @ sign. It's literally the @ sign. We have to make sure we have it. And then after the @ sign, once again, we have the characters that we can use with a plus at the end to say, hey, you can have as many of these as you want. Perfect.
With a dot
We have a special one. Matches the
and then
character.
something else.
So because dot in regex, if I remove it, actually means something, it matches any character, one. We want to make sure that the dot
It's escaping the dot.
is exactly what we're looking for. There needs to be a dot for, let's say, .com or .ca or .net or .org. If instead I didn't have this slash, this could be any character. This is still a matching string without a dot. So again, special character right here. And again, it actually gives you explanation. So if you scroll down through here, it'll tell you exactly what it does. All right, after the dot, once again, we have anything that we want within these square brackets, then as long as we want. And then finally, this $sign says, hey, it has to end with this. This is the end of the line. Awesome.
The end of the
Using
line
that,
is there.
We're able to figure out exactly how to do an email validation. So all I need to do now is, let's say, go to code generator, copy this piece of code. Again, we're using a raw string because we want to make sure that Python interpreter just doesn't try to add any special abilities to it. We just want to make sure that this is a raw string. Make sure I end that. All right, perfect. So now inside of this string, let's say I have an email address that a user sends me, such as b@b.com. If I just remove all these and just do a pattern, and let's just simply do, well, let's just check if a exists. If I click run, all right, this matches. But if somebody gives me a wrong email address or something that's not formatted properly,
Yeah.
just like this, and I click run, I get none. So I can do an if statement saying, hey, if there's no matching object, well then tell them, sorry, try again. Very, very cool. So I have an exercise for you. Using what you've just learned, and definitely your Google skills, because with regular expressions, you will Google. You're not going to memorize any of this. I mean, I don't.
No.
What I want you to do is to create also a password checker. So the password has to have a few requirements. So the password has to be at least 8 characters long, and it can contain any sort of letters, numbers, and you know what? It can contain, how about these symbols? That's it. So write a regular expression just like this using this regex 101. And in the next video, we're going to try and do this as well.
Okay, at least 8 characters long, including letters, numbers, and this list of special characters. Okay, but first, well, I guess I already did this one here. The only thing that I will change is this because he's using double quotes. I don't think it's going to matter. But anyway, I'm going to put it there just in case. Copy relative path. Oh wait, yeah. What? My mouse is dying. There we go. Yeah, okay. So we're getting there, definitely. Let's save this as the next 03. I wonder if you can change the font on this that the system is using, because I don't really like that one. Okay, 03 is going to be a password checker. So the idea will be to have a password with at least 8 characters long, is using letters, numbers, and this short list of characters. Okay, so let's go back here and actually put it here. And okay, let's try. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, D, F, something. I don't know. And the special characters, where are they? Okay, it's $, percentage, hashtag, and @. Is $, wait, what? the hell happened? $sign. Percentage. Oh, wait. Percentage. AdSense and add. Okay, there we go. There we go. So all of this should be valid. Let's try it out. So I guess it should start, and I do remember that the character. Okay, you should start with the A through Z and A through Z, and any number from 0 to 9. There we go. And this group, oh well, it's starting with this. Well, I don't really need to start with that. It could be all of that. And this list of characters, which I think I can just paste there. Okay, so that's the first thing. All the valid characters are there, but I may like to maybe count. No. Well, count is what I think. Okay, no. Meta sequences, scope constructor, character classes, flags and modifiers. Oh, okay. Substitution, group construct, match, capture everything. All tokens. Number. Any digit. Match subpattern number. Exactly 3 of A. Okay. Okay, the number is between curly braces at the end, I guess. Okay. At the 8. And only 8. If I add something else, it's not going to be valid. There we go. So that's the solution. Well, that's the pattern. There we go. And none of this is going to be valid, so I need this. I wonder if I can just put it here. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So I'm going to escape, but it's going to be a very long string. So probably the best thing will be to just add this. And that should be okay now. What's this? I don't care. Maybe like that. And I want to find all. I want to find them all. There we go. It's finding all the matches. So that's it.
I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. All right, let's see how you did here. Now, I could just Google this and figure it out on my own, and I recommend that you do that as well. But for now, just based on the fact that we only have 2 things, let's try and write this from scratch. Again, not something that I recommend, but hey, this will be fun. Let's give it a go. So how would I search for this? Let's say I want to make sure that it's a password, again, 8 characters long or more. But first, I want to make sure that the password contains any sort of letters, numbers, and these symbols. You know what? Just for fun, I'm going to add an extra challenge. I'm going to say it also has to end with a number. I know this is completely useless because you wouldn't want a password like that. That's way too restrictive, but I think this will be fun. Now, in here, we want to check a password. Let's say it's super secret. It has some of those symbols that I mentioned, and it has to end with a number. So we have to match all of this, and it's over 8 characters. The first thing I'm going to do is use our square brackets and say that we want to check for A to Z, which we've seen before. If I scroll here, we have A to Z. We also want to make sure
start with lowercase first,
some of the things.
but it's the same thing.
Numbers 0 to 9. All right, so we have some numbers in here. Let's say if I added some numbers, that works as well.
And now these special characters.
Symbols. So let's just add the symbols that we can use. Let's go back to here. We can use these symbols. So let's just copy them and paste them in. Right. Everything in here that matches is good. And looks like, yeah, we're matching things right now.
Now you need to limit the amount of characters.
Right here, that's not going to work. We want to make sure that it ends with 8. We also want to make sure that it's going to be at least 8 characters long, because I could just do this and everything still works.
Yeah.
So how can we do it? Well, let's look at the reference here. If I scroll down, let's see. We have exactly 3 of a kind, 3 or more. Okay, this might be useful. A, 3, comma, and these curly bracket matches at least 3 consecutive A characters. All right, so it shows you exactly what it does. I think this is useful. So we want to make
Oh, I don't have that one. So the thing I have is when they are exactly 8. So I need the comma to say at least 8 onwards. Okay. So what happens if I don't have 1? That should not be. Come on. If I just, there we go, I'm only getting 3 because I need 8 at least. Okay. And this should be enough. And I'm getting a lot more. There we go. So at least 8. There we go. Not exactly 8. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's going to work.
our password checker is at least 8 characters long.
8
so we're
characters long.
Okay, we're matching this whole string, and it has to be at least 8 characters long. So let's make it 8 characters long, and look at that. This is matching. Awesome.
It's matching.
Now the next part is we want to make sure it ends with a number. So how can we do that? Again, let's check out here if there's anything special. Let's do number or digits. All right, look at that. Any digit. So
any
digit. So this /d is going to match any decimal digit, equivalent to 0 to 9. All right, so if I do, let's say /d, all right, everything is still matching, but if I type anything else out here, yep, now it's failing. So there's our password checker, like right here. So I can just go to code generator, copy this, go to my REPO, and here let's just create a new one, say password, that will have the compiled pattern, R, and then paste this in. So this is going to be our password, and I'm going to check our password, let's say B, or let's just say check equals pattern, or instead of pattern, let's do password, and then we'll do a full search. And in the full search, we'll give it the string. So the string that we're going to check will be the password. So let's just change this up. We'll say pattern here, 2. So this will be pattern 2, just so we name it properly. And then the password is going to be string, some passwords, some numbers, maybe some symbols here, and then ends with a number. So let's see if that works. If I do password here, and I do check, click run.
Well, it's a full check.
Full search,
so
it should be full match.
Full match.
There you go. Everything is working. As soon as I type in a letter in here, I get none. If this is less than 8 characters, I get none again. Very, very cool. Hopefully you were able to get that. If not, like I said, I think out of this entire course, this is probably the least important section. I know I'm telling you this at the end, so you'll at least do it. But I wanted you to know that regular expression is a thing that you might encounter and you might use throughout your career. But like I said, it's one of those things that if I had to rank the importance of, it's
it's very important.
So hopefully your head doesn't hurt too much. I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, it's looks very weird, but it's really important, really, because allows you to make very difficult searches of text in very large data sets or even text files. Yeah, let's assume that you are getting a large text file with a lot of data, and you know you have emails there. You may like to get them, but doing a manual search is going to be difficult and manual. So maybe just having a regular expression helping you finding out all of that is going to be great. And you can just extract values there from chaotic text files. Okay, what now? Okay, that's the solution. That's it. And we just finished with regular expressions. It was, in my opinion, right after starting on section 12, we're getting these very short sections here that I feel that this could be deeper, way deeper than the author is actually telling us. So maybe one, he doesn't come up with many, he doesn't know the subject deep enough, or he's leaving those subjects behind for later chapters in the chapters that include, for example, this scrape data section here and whatnot. Okay, let's continue with
Hello and
my favorite thing.
Testing, you see, is an important concept in programming, not just Python.
Unit testing,
Although
bro.
we start off writing simple script files with a few lines of code. When we start getting into the real world, you start getting thousands and millions of lines of code. Hundreds of Python files worked on by many people from different divisions in a company, and most likely all of them starting at different time of the company. All the code changes happening over time at different times as people work on the project, as the complexity of the code and the size of the code increases. It becomes harder and harder for someone to fix a bug that may arise. Let's say you come into a project that has been around for years. You may modify something that may modify another part of the app that you didn't even think of. And you start creating all these bugs with new features that you introduce into the app. The longer that the code stays in a project, the more likely it is to be touched by different developers. So you see the problem here, right? For companies, this is a huge problem. Because you're most likely always growing your product and adding more and more lines of code. That means that they're just going to keep making this giant monster that becomes harder and harder to tame and debug.
Yeah, it's going to be harder and harder.
Luckily for us, we have something called testing. And testing can help us solve this problem. As the name suggests, testing is a method in software development where individual units of source code, such as functions, are tested to see whether they work properly. Although it may not be a big part of a coding interview, a lot of companies usually don't think about testing when interviewing people. It becomes more important as you go through your career. For example, in my case, when I first started out as a programmer, I didn't know that much about testing before I got hired. But the importance of testing grew more and more as I progressed in my career. And it's one of those things that has made me a better developer. So if you want to become a senior programmer, and if you want to have a long-lasting career, you really need to master this skill. Because remember, every serious company is going to have tests, and they'll want you to write tests for your code. So let's explore this idea of testing a little bit more. You see, a test is simply another Python file. Now, in my case over here, I have a main.py and a test.py file on my desktop, right here. Usually you have a test file like this accompanying one of your files. So for example, if you had 100 files of Python or modules, then each of those modules will have its own test file that you can run tests with. Now, this file that we're going to be writing never actually runs in production. It's a file that we run to make sure that before we release this main.py file to production, that everything is working properly. So this is only for development, but we would never actually, well, the customers will never see this file.
Yeah, never see
that. Before we actually start writing some tests, I do want to remind you that we did learn a few ways to debug our code, right? We learned about things like pylinting that we installed in our Visual Studio Code to lint our code and check the syntax and small errors as we type our code. We also saw how the online REPL that we use another thing called pyflakes, which is just another linter. And then we also saw that PyCharm, our IDE, also had built-in linting. We also learned that we have something called auto pep8, or pep8, which is the standard style guide for Python. And this allows us to make sure that our code meets a style that the Python community has agreed on. These are the simple tools that allow our code to be checked for simple styling issues or simple mistakes, such as not declaring a variable. But these only get you so far. And testing is a higher level up, a way to, after you do linting, after you do something like pep8, after you've met all those requirements and your file runs, testing is a way to actually check even more of your code. So how do we write these tests that I keep talking about and not coding? Well, let's find out. Luckily for us, there's a built-in module from the standard library that we can use. And it's called unit test. So in the next video, we're going to start writing some tests, writing some sample code, and show you exactly how they benefit us as programmers. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Unit test. Here is where the fun begins.
Welcome back. Let's write our first tests. Now, we're going to just have a simple function that we run in this program. We'll create in our main.py file, let's make this a little bit bigger. We'll say that we have a function called do stuff. Yes, very descriptive function. Now, in here, we'll just say that we accept a number, and we'll just simply return num plus 5. A very simple function. So let's say this was our code that builds our app.
Okay, I'm going to be doing that before I forget. Okay. Yeah, sure. Wait, why do I have 2 changes left? Never mind. Okay. So I am on another section, so I should create another section 15. Unit testing. (1501) unit test main.py. Okay, so let's do stuff. Num, return num plus 5. Okay. And just the function. I don't need anything else.
So this is just one function, but hypothetically we have many functions that we want to test because these are actions that we're going to perform in our code. So the way unit test works is like this. We have our test file, and after we import our unit test, we want to import, well, the file that we want to test. In our case, it's main.py. So let's just import main, which is...
Okay, wait. I need another thing then. I guess this is going to be used by anything else, so let's see. Okay, so 02. There we go. Oh, another break. Wow, that was fast. Okay, let's see. Where were we? I wonder what the rings mean. Okay, Okay. Oh, okay.
¡Eso es! ¡Al ataque! ¡Allá voy!
So those attacks allow me to enclose the enemies in rings of light.
¡Estoy bien!
Where? Okay, I just need to go straight here. No. There we go. Oh, look at that. Hello.
Protegeré. Irule.
No, too early.
¡Comienza a comer! ¡Se aquí!
Goodbye.
La victoria es...
Wow, he's really strong now.
Ni hablar.
I'm supposed to find better weapons with this.
¡Oh, soy fuerte!
Okay, let's use that one. What? Somebody is hitting me. Hell, oh, I need to activate this.
¡Lo hice!
Okay, wow, it's going to take a while, so let's send you here, Zelda. No, let's send Zelda. I don't want to, but okay.
¡Urbosa!
¡A sus órdenes, Alteza!
Okay. Uh-oh. Run from there.
¡Hay que aprovechar ahora! ¡Hay que aprovechar ahora! ¡Ahora sí llegó la hora! ¡Sin clemencia!
Come on, break. Damn it. Not enough.
¡Ahora sí llegó la hora!
That should be enough.
¡Sin clemencia!
Goodbye. There we go.
¡Suerte tomarse conmigo!
Yeah, really, in what I had only played 2 Warriors games. This one here, and Fire Emblem Warriors, the first one, because there is a new one coming out. And for what I gather, really leveling up characters is not really important. You may be a level 1 and still kick ass, or be a maximum level character and still be awful. The important thing on these games are the weapons. If you improve your weapons, it doesn't matter what level you are, really. Okay. What is Zelda? Oh yeah, I ordered Zelda to go here. Maybe I should go with Link. Okay, where are you? Ah, come on.
¡Urbosa!
¡A sus órdenes, Alteza!
Link is out of position.
¡Fuera de mi vista! ¡Estoy harta! ¡Hay que aprovechar ahora!
Okay. Yeah, I only using Urbosa to open up the castle. Or the fortress, whatever it is.
¡Ahora sí llegó la hora! ¡Sin clemencia! ¡Ya basta!
Okay, go.
¡El témpano de hielo!
Very slow. I don't remember the location of every element. There we go.
¡Fuera!
That's the signal to continue working. Okay, where were we? Okay, so I'm going to be doing the unit test here.
Or we can just import the function as well if we want. But in our case, hypothetically, we have many functions here, so we can just import main and use.
Okay, import unit test and import main. There we go. No. And in my case, it's not called unit test 01. There we go. Unit test main. This is the name. Why is it in red? What? I don't care. I think that's the name. Never mind.
All the functions available there. Now, the way unit test works is we create a class and then name it whatever we want. In here, we'll have all our tests. So let's just call it test main. And we
Okay.
inherit inside of this class what unit test gives us, which is a test case.
Okay. I'm going to inherit from unit test dot test case. So this is a class. Test case is a class that comes from the unit test module. So it's not anything. It's a class.
Way to work with unit test. So we're inheriting whatever unit test test case is, and now we have that
inheriting
functionality
from
available
test
in our
case.
main class. Now in here, we can start testing and writing code to test. So how can we test main do stuff function? Well, we simply say, hey, let's write a function in here, or a method, because this is part of a class, and say, hey, I want to test do stuff. And in here, it will receive self. Now in here, I can test my code. So I can say if number in here is equals to 10, I'm just giving it a random number, then I'm going to say result is going to equal main dot do stuff. So remember, do stuff comes from main, which is the function.
And I need to send
run the do stuff function
a number argument.
Give the parameter num, which I've just given here. Or let's just call this test param. So this test param, we're going to run the code, and we're going to get a result. And this last line is the key part of unit test.
Yeah.
Test allows us to say self dot assert equal. And assert equal is something that we get when we inherit from unit test. And assert equal says, hey, assert or make sure that these two parameters are equal. In our case, I want to test that the result is equal to, well, in our case, 10 plus 5 should equal 15.
15.
All right. Now, finally, in here, we just run the unit test. And the way we run the unit test, because this is just one test that I get, I could have done multiple tests.
Yeah, we need an object.
Unit test dot main, which will run the entire test file within the.
Whoa. Okay. Let's do that. So I need to define, what's the name? Test the stuff. Okay. And I'm using self as an input parameter. And on this method, I need test param 10. You're going to be equals to 10. And the result should be whatever the do stuff function returns with the test param. Okay. In my case, it's called 15. Wait. It's not recommending anything. Come on. Unit this main dot to stuff with the test param and self dot assert equal. Okay. Assert equal and assert equals. I guess it's this one. It will be result and 15 in this case. And should I return anything? No. Unit test.main. Okay. So, unit test dot main. Is that going to do something? Oh, it's a method. Okay. I guess. And what should I run?
Test main. Now, if I run this now, all I have to do is say Python 3, my command line, and say test.py.
Okay, it should run the test file. No. I think it's 02. There we go. There's an error. So what's the matter there? Unit test main 1501 unit test main. So that's invalid decimal literal. So that's weird. So maybe I need to enclose this like this, maybe? Wait, how do you call it? Test. Okay. Test file. Well, I'm calling it test file. There we go. I hope that works. I wonder why it's not working properly. Okay. Invalid syntax. Maybe the name is wrong. Let's copy this. Let's put it here. But it's going to have issues here. Maybe I should just rename this file. Unit test.py. Oh wait, no. Not this one. What I need is this one here. Unit test.main. Maybe I cannot use this naming convention here. Okay, seems to be working now. Unit test main. Unit and the, I guess this is going to be an issue too. Unit test. Yeah. Okay, so there is an error. File, importing the file. Oh wait, it's the same name. Yeah, I'm having issues here. Just because of the, yeah, I cannot use the same name. Let's use the same naming convention that he's using. But this is an important thing to consider during real projects. So starting with numbers is not a good idea then. So, okay. I no longer need you. From main.stuff. Okay. There we go. I'm getting something here.
And I get, okay, ran one test in, well, super fast, in 0 seconds. That was nice and quick. Now, let's say I do something else where I assert equal that this equals 10. If I
It's going to fail.
look at that.
Yeah. Fail. There is an F first. I guess that means that it fails. Failed test of stuff. Trace back. This is what it tried to assert. Assertion error. 15 is not equals to 10. Failures 1. Okay, thank you.
Get a fail. What failed? Well, the test to do function failed. On line 8, so that is right here, we have an assertion error. We
An assertion error.
expected 10. How cool is that? So I now have one failure, so I need to fix my code. So something's not right here. Now, in my case, this is because I've asserted the answer to be 15. But what if we create another test in here and check, hey, what if we have test do stuff 2, and this time the test param is actually going to be a piece of string. So what do we want the function to do? Well, in our case, maybe it gives us a error, maybe a value error. So I'll just say value error, because this shouldn't work. If I run this now, Let's clear this. If I run,
I do remember that that doesn't work.
I have 2 tests, but I have 1 error. And I see here that I'm getting an error saying that, hey, I'm getting a type error. Can only concatenate string, not int. Now, in this case, what actually fails is the test file, because what we just done actually fails our function. But
I cannot
right away,
call the
I see that,
function there.
this is something that we need to fix. So I can go back to main and say, hey, I want to make sure that we catch any errors, like type errors or value errors. So the first thing I can do is just say int number. And if I save that to make sure that we convert something to it.
Okay. Let's do that one first.
An integer, and I run this. Right, so now I get a value error, invalid literal. So int can be run on this piece of string. Okay. So another thing we can do to improve our code is to wrap it in a try except block, right? And then we can catch, so let's say accept, and in here accept a value error, and let's say as error. And in here we can do whatever we want. So we can return if we want the error, or we can even raise the error. In our case, let's just return the error.
Okay. Let's do the try. The try except. Okay.
And I'll show you why in a second. Now, if I ran this, you see that my test fails, but now it's actually an assertion error. The assertion error is coming from our test file here, and I'm asserting that.
Okay, let's try in the test file. Let's do test do stuff too. And here, so I can actually get a value error object here. It's a class, inappropriate argument value or correct type. Ah, okay. Result and class. I need to receive an object of this class, of this type, and this type is a class of value error. There we go. So if the result is equals to a value error, then it's going to do something. In here, I need some gibberish. There we go. There we go. I ran 2 tests and then 1 failed. Test do stuff 2. Type error can only concatenate a string, not end the string. Okay. Test parem main do stuff. Test do stuff 2 failed. Cannot. It's still sending me this error that you cannot concatenate this. Well, that's actually the type error. Okay. It's not a value error then. What is he getting?
Hey, I want to make sure that the result and the value
It's not a value error.
are equal. Now, you see over here that there's a bit of a mismatch. We have a value error over here doesn't equal the class value error. Now, this is a bit of a trick where because we're returning an error, it's actually an instance of the value error class. So we need to do something like this. We need to say, hey, is instance, and say, what is it an instance of? Well, is result an instance of value error, like this.
Oh, okay. I need to enclose this. Is what's the name? Is instance. Okay. Is instance. And what's going to evaluate? Result. Value error. Is that it? Result with value error.
But the problem here is that, let's make this a little bit bigger. The problem here is that assert equals is going to expect 2 parameters, 2 things that must be equal. But here, I just want to make sure that it's true, that the result is an instance of value error.
Assert true?
So how can I do that? Well, besides assert equal, we have a few other methods that unit test gives us. If I go to the unit test documentation here, on the first line it says the list of assert methods. So here, I see that these are all the methods for asserting and testing our code. The one that we probably
nice. There is an assert is the instance.
want is this one, assert true.
Assert true. Yeah, I am already evaluating that one, so maybe. But there is a is instance, and I guess I can just do this result, and that's it, isn't it? There we go. And that's going to do it for me, I think. I hope. Let's see the documentation. Okay. Same as self.assert true is instance of it's the same. It's even better written. Yeah, it's even telling me right here. Look at this. It's the same thing, but with a nicer default message. Thank you. So let's try it out. Did it work? One failed. Okay. Well, he's going to do it. Let's see it.
To check if something is true. So if I do assert that this is true, and I ran my test, let's clear this, and run my test again. There you go. I ran 2 tests and everything seems to be okay. And again, to go over this, why is this? Well, I'm running my test file, and then I'm going to run the test, do stuff, which is going to be okay. Then I do the second part, where the test parameter is something that we don't really want, which is just a piece of string. The result is going to give us a value error because we've caught this error and we're now returning the error. And then finally, we run this piece of code. Hey, is this true? Is the result going to be a value error? So you see what we're doing here. What we're trying to do with our test.
Okay, so it's not a value error in my case. I guess Python changed between this video recording and today. So because I'm getting a type error, really. Can only concatenate a string, not end. So I didn't solve the issue here. I'm returning an end. If I try to do this, I'm not getting a value error, I'm getting a type error. That's the difference between him and me. So here, this is a type error. So that should be get caught. Okay, there we go. 2 tests and since so. Okay, I'm getting an error here. What I am asserting is that the result is the type error. This is basically to check out if my errors are actually working, if my try catches are actually working. Okay.
Is to improve our function by simply trying to break it. So we want to break our function and see, hey,
so Python changed a little bit.
And then once you do that and a test fails, then you go back to the function and try to.
But it's not lethal.
Like here, which is really, really cool. This is a common practice with
I was able to figure it out.
The function becomes perfect. Now, I want you to take your time here and see if you can break this function and maybe add a couple more tests. In the next video, I'm going to add a few more to make this function even better. I'll see you in the next. Bye-bye.
Writing tests, unit tests.
Welcome back. Let's continue with our unit tests. Now, one thing I noticed here is that when looking at the documentation, we actually have an assert is instance. So we can actually, instead of saying assert true, just use the assert is instance, which can give A and B. Again, all these assert methods, there's no right one. You can use whichever one you want as a tool to improve your code. So in my case, let's just change this to assert is instance and fix this like this. So just a little cleaner. Let's see if this works. All right, everything is still good. Okay, let's try and break our code again. So everything is looking good, but what if we do something different? What if we do, let's say, add another test, and we'll say test, do stuff. 2, usually you want to name these functions a lot better so they're more descriptive. But in our case, this is fine just so we can see how they work. This time around, let's do test param is going to equal, how about a none type. So now if I run this, let's run this code again. And by the way, you might notice here how I'm copying code in a test. And you might think, well, can we just make this simpler and not repeat ourselves? And you can totally do that and make things a lot easier. But when it comes to tests, because they don't go into production, and this is just for development purposes, you really want to have tests that are easy to read so that other people understand your tests. Because when it comes to testing, readability is really, really important. We don't care as much about not repeating ourselves and making our code efficient, nice and small.
Okay.
So I like writing tests that are really descriptive, really obvious. All right, in here, let's say self.assert equal, and what should this be? Well, in this case, I'm expecting a value error. So let's do this. I expect that the result will be a value error. I'm going to save and run my test. All right, I get an error. It says this is a type error. Int argument must be a string. And I'm giving it a non-type. All right, so this isn't handling it properly because it just doesn't work with the int. We get a type error. So how can we fix this? How can we adjust it in case we get a non-type in the parameter? Well, first off, let's give it a default parameter. Let's say the default parameter is 0. If I run this, again, I still get the error. Okay, so we still haven't fixed it. The argument
What the hell is going on?
a byte-like object or a number, not non-type. Okay, so we're
losing video now.
Checking for the non-type. So another thing we can do is say if number. So we're checking if we have the number value. Because remember, this is going to default to true if it has any sort of numbers or, well, any value. But if it's a non-type, it's going to turn into false. So in here, if number, we can say return this. Else, otherwise, we'll return, please enter number. So I'm going to say this and now change this, because now we should expect please enter number into my test. And I'm going to say assert equal. That result is going to be please enter number. If I now run my test, let's clear this. Oh, looks like I'm ran 2 tests in 0 seconds, but we have 3 tests, and that's because you see here that I named mine the same. Remember, if you name the thing the same, well, it's only going to run one of them. So make sure that all the test names are. So I'm going to run this. All right, ran 3 tests and everything is working.
Okay, so the third test is going to assert equals the result. Please enter a number. Okay. If we move back a little bit.
So I'm going to say this and now change.
Okay, so that's the change. I'm getting an if. I'm asking if num has something. A default value of 0. And I'm going to check if num, and I can just verify num. If num is null or none, then it's not going to get here. Else, return please enter a number. Okay. I'm going to copy paste that, else return, and everything seems to be the same thing. I need the else. I'm going to need a third test. And can I send a message? Okay, and a message, anything. So maybe here. No. I was thinking about, well, maybe result. Because it's going to return the message. Isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, 3 tests. It didn't print anything. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It passed the test. So it's a type error here. Let's see how does it do it.
This, because now we should expect received a wrong input, like a string or a non-type. Well, as soon as we...
Oh, test number 3 is none. Yeah. There we go. Test number 3 failed. Assertion error. Please enter a number. It's not an instance of class type error. Please enter a number. Oh, well, it's showing me, and then I'm showing the send message. So it's working. It's working as intended, so it's okay. So it's showing me the value. In this case, is please enter a number. It's not an instance of type error. Please enter a number. That's the message I'm outputting here. So it's great. It's great. It's doing good.
That
I need to design better tests.
And as
that's obvious.
Things, I was able to improve this function so it's more durable. So that now it works a lot better in production, right? And this is the power of tests. It allows us to check for any mistakes that we may have made, because maybe we wouldn't have thought of doing something like this initially. But by writing tests alongside our code, we were able to improve the function. Now, one last thing I want to add. Let's just add another one of the tests and say that this do stuff for, what if the test parameter is just an empty string? We should get please enter a number. So if I ran this, all right, 4 tests are passing. So it looks like our code is working nicely. Now, to finish off here, I want to just point out a few things. I'm calling here unit test.main, but this has nothing to do with the actual file that we wrote, which is the main file.
Okay.
Let's say I rename this. So let's go to my desktop and say I want to change this to script.py. Let's now open this, in my case with Sublime Text. Let's go back here. So you see here that main.py is, well, doesn't exist anymore. It's asking me to save. So this is a completely different file now. If I do script here and simply change all the instances to script, If I save this and now run,
Again? Wow, that was fast. I'm using too much time. Maybe I'm just getting slow. Where am I?
¡Qué mala suerte toparse conmigo!
Oh, here's another one.
Es inútil. ¡El témpano de hielo! ¡Se acabó!
And here we go. Okay, so up, Zelda. There we go, Zelda. Do your thing.
¡Alteza!
Lo intentaré, Urbosa.
And now you are going to follow Zelda around. Or maybe... What? Okay. Link. You should try to do something useful too. Come on, follow me. Ah, because it's not open. Yes, I'm here. How do I open this? Okay. There we go. This mission is quite slow. Okay. It's open. Do I need to fight it? No. It just opens.
Aquí. Sí.
Wait, there is something here? No. Well, I think I discovered everything here. Oh, Sa!
Protegeré.
Did I got him?
Irule.
Yeah. I got him.
Protegeré. Irule. Prepárense.
Okay. It's not doing anything. Whoa!
Seguí luchando.
I wasn't pushing the button.
Irule.
I thought I was guarding, but no.
¡Al ataque!
Again.
Es el fin.
Yeah, that's a very dumb attack.
¡Comienza por él!
Okay, goodbye.
Atrevimiento.
Oh wait, it's not done. Okay. And oh, there's a big room. Wow, there's a lot of people here. Ooh, that's bad news. Very bad news.
¡Explosión!
Now, way too late. Whoa, I'm gonna die here, bro. Woo! Whoa,
Seguí luchando.
did I just use all my apples here?
Protegeré. Irule.
Okay, thank you for the apple. Wow.
Seguí luchando. ¡Soy fuerte! Estoy bien. Explosión.
Wow, it's very slow, very short range. The Sheikah Slate is way better. In range, at least. Whoa! Whoa! I almost died there. No, too late. Oh no! Just in time? No. Okay, come. No, too early. Way too early.
Explosión.
Wow, the explosion is very slow. Okay.
¡Al ataque!
Looks like time to go back to work. This is going to be my last or previous? I don't remember.
This still works. Unit test.main simply says, hey, just run all the tests over here. Now, one thing, and this is a common practice that we've talked about before, is because you want to say, run this file if this is the main file being run, because we don't really want to import test main or anything like this into other files. These are individual files that should only be run when we run our tests. So I can just say if __ name equals __ main, then run this piece of code. So now if I save this and run,
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. If equals is double equals? Yeah. I already forgot about that. Wow. Assertion error. Please enter a number. Yeah, because assert true. What am I going to assert? Result. Attribute error. Test main object has no attribute. Assert true. Wait, what? It's not okay. Wait. Oh, assert true. Like this. Okay, run 3 tests, but what is this going to return again with this? None. If none, please enter a number. Okay. So I guess I should ask if what you return is going to be equals to this. Assert equal to this. There we go. Obviously, a message that just says, let me see. Wait, why cannot the keyboard died? Are you kidding me? Is the battery dying already? What the hell? Looks like the battery is dying. Well, I've been using this this wireless keyboard a lot, so thankfully I have a box full of AAA batteries laying around. Thank you, Amazon. Okay. What's going on? Are the batteries okay? Well, these are new batteries. What? Well, probably. Is it connected now? There we go. Oh no, never mind. It's not the batteries. Yeah, I can do whatever I want. Well, I already replaced the battery, so damn it. For some reason, I'm not able to type anything there. CD, okay. CD Python, section 15, unit testing. Okay, now it's working. Test.py. Test.py, there we go. And if somebody else is trying to import this, it's not going to run because of this. Unless they change that, obviously.
There you go. Everything is still working, but now I make sure that this is a test file, and I'm only going to run this code if it's the file that's being run, if it's the main file being run. So this is a standard way that you would have your unit test done with the unit test module. Let's take a break and talk a little bit more about tests in the next video. Welcome back. Let's talk about a few more neat things that you can do with unit test. And remember, you can always go to the documentation on the Python website and learn more about some of the things that you can do. But notice here how at the end we added the if name main. Some of you may be wondering why this is useful, because so far we've just ran it from the command line as a single file, and that has been working. But usually you have more than one file and you have each module tested with different functions, right? So ideally you want to run all these tests in unison. And the way you do this is to write Python and then -m and then give it the unit test that you want to run. So now if I do this, you see that everything is working. Let's say I add a new file here. Let's say touch test2.py, which is a short command on Macs to just create a new file. So now my desk.
Okay, but wait a minute. Hey, let me try that one. It ran, but I don't have anything called unit test. Oh no, yeah, I do. Here is the name of the import. But how do you know? So I guess you're going to run my unit test from this file. Okay. And it doesn't matter the name?
Desktop, let's just copy this test that we originally have, go to my desktop and open up this in Sublime Text. So now if I copy and paste this, the exact same thing,
Okay.
and I save this, go back to my code and run unit test, you see that I have 8 tests now.
Oh, I get
I added
it.
this if name main, I'm able to run all these tests with just one simple command.
Okay,
I'm able to
again.
run all these tests that are being run. And because I've added this if name main, I'm able to run all these tests with just
Okay.
one simple command. Now, what
Unit
I need to
test
is that we do something
main.
called -v, which stands for verbose. And that is when
Okay.
we do this, we actually get more information about the tests that we ran. So it gives you a little bit more detail. You see which
Ooh.
tests we've run and which ones are okay, which ones have failed. As a matter of fact, I can even add tests with information about the test. And that is when we do this.
Okay, it's Python 3 M unit test B. Okay. Test the stuff. That's way better. Yeah, test the stuff. Test the stuff 2, test the stuff 3. Test main, okay. So, okay, let me see if I get this. If I save this as test 2, and I save it, and again, now it's going to run both files. There we go. So I can basically create a library of tests. That's great. That's actually great.
We actually get more information about the tests that we ran. So it gives you a little bit more detail. You see which tests we've run and which ones are okay, which ones have failed. As a matter of fact, I can even add comments and doc strings to my
Comments?
test. So let's say test do stuff. I can say single quote 3 times.
Oh yeah, like
Simply
any
say,
other method.
If I
It's
run
to
this
be
again
a
with the -v
single.
command. Oh, and this has to be on a single line.
On a
Say that
single
again and run
line.
this. Look at that. I also get some comments. So maybe I wanted to add a few comments on my tests. I can add those as well.
Okay, let me try that one. Inside the methods. or test 1, and maybe do the same here. You're going to be test 2. You're going to be, what? My mouse is dying now. Test 3. Wait, I am on test 2 already, so this will be test 4. Test 5. And test 6. Save it. And if I open test, I could do it like this. Test 1, test 2, and test 3. So I can see the differences. Okay, where does it read? Test 1, that's amazing. So I can type whatever I want there, like testing equal something, or validation testing, or validating email address, or validating something else. Whatever the name of the test, I can put it there, and I'm going to receive back the unit test.
What other neat thing can I do? Another default method that we get with unit tests is something called set up. And set up allows us to run a piece of code that sets up before each call of the test. So for example, whatever I write in here, let's say I wanted to set up my test and just print about to test a function. Now, because I have this, if I run my code now,
but I only see that once.
you see that before each method.
Ah, no. It's
Setup method first. So you see
before.
that? I say,
Okay, let's try. It's before every single function method. There we go. So, and that's hard coded basically. Def setup. So I am overwriting something here. Print. About to run a test. What's the matter here? Yeah, that's fine. This is for test. Wait, but that's an issue? Hook method for setting up the test fixture before exercising it. Method has no. Oh wait, I need self, right? Yeah. I need to pass the object itself as an argument. It's a parameter there. There we go. There's the stuff. Test, do a stuff. Test 1, about to run a test. Okay. Test 1. So it's setting up stuff before running the test. That's great because I might initialize the environment to something specific for every single test. Okay.
about to run a function, about to run a function, about to run a function, and about to run a function. And then we have our test2 file that we haven't done any setup for. So this is really, really useful if you need to set up something before each function. Let's say you have some default variables maybe that you need to set up. Well, in that case, this is a very useful method. Another one, just like setup, usually you add at the bottom of the file. And in here, this is called a tear down.
Tear down.
And as the name suggests, we run it at the end of each method that we call. So in here, let's say cleaning up. And usually you do this to clean up some variables, maybe reset some variables.
Yeah.
Run this. You see that I have now about to test a function.
And it's going to run after
for each one of these methods. So these two are very, very useful
method.
when setting up and tearing down tests. Now, tear down you won't use as often.
No, it's going to be used. That's for sure. It's going to be used. Let me play with it. Def tear down. Whoa, it's even a recommendation for that. And it's calling the super tear down. Okay, nice. Let's just do what he did. There we go. What is tearing down? It's happening for the field file. About to run a test. It runs the test, then tear downs the test. Okay. Now I need to recall my unit testing course.
Usually you'd use it if you're testing something more complicated.
Because now I'm going to implement this in Python.
Right. There you have it for tests. As you can see, at the end of the day, tests are simply logical programs.
Yeah.
We write, right? It's just a class, and then we set up all these methods to try and test our code as much as possible. In our case, we just have
Testing
one
code
function,
is
but by using
important.
tests, we're able to notice small things that can go wrong with the function, and thus improve our code. So that next time somebody comes, another developer comes and tries to modify this function, or maybe tries to call this function with something that is not right,
Not
our
right.
tests are going to fail, and it's going to let the developer know, hey, you're doing something wrong. Somebody who wrote this function before you, somebody that wrote these tests before you, told you to use this function in a specific way. Very, very useful. In the next video, we're going to do a fun little exercise to make sure we understand testing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Exercise testing.
Welcome back. Let's do a fun little exercise by revisiting a piece of code that we've written before. Remember the random number guessing game? Where we have to guess a number between 1 and 10? If I run this file, you see that it asks me to guess. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I finally get the number. You are a genius. The number was 9. So how can we test this code? Now, one thing you'll notice here is that we don't really have a function. And remember when I told you about functional programming and how it's good to break up our code into small bits of functions that do one thing really well, especially pure functions? Well, one of the big benefits with that mentality is that you create code that is really, really easy to test. Instead of having really complicated logic in our tests, we can simply give our functions an input and expect an output. And this is why we have unit test. And the idea of a unit test is that we're testing each piece of unit. These unit tests are small little pieces testing these simple functions. So my challenge to you is to use this code and try to break this up into simple functions. Now, in our case, I want us to just test this part of the code, which is the guessing part, where we receive an input, which will be the guess, and then test it against some random answer that we have. And we should expect some sort of output. So either we enter a number, has to be 1 to 10, and if we get it right, we have to get the string. But the key here is that we probably want to move this into a function that we can test. We can ignore the outside world and break this up into its own little function. So pause the video here, give it a go. You're going to have to get through some stumbling blocks, but it's going to really test your understanding of tests. Haha, funny. That was a pun. So pause the video, give it a go. Otherwise, I'm going to get going with the answer. The first thing I want to do is to...
Wait.
Well, one of the big benefits with that mentality is that you create code that is really, really easy to test. Instead of having really complicated logic in our tests, we can simply give our functions an input and expect an output. And this is why we have unit test. And the idea of a unit test is that we're testing each piece of unit. These unit tests are small little pieces testing these simple functions. So my challenge to you is to use this code and try to break this up into simple functions. Now, in our case, I want us to just test this part of the code, which is the guessing part, where we receive an input, which will be the guess, and then test it against some random answer that we have. And we should expect some sort of output.
Yeah.
So either we enter a number, has to be 1 to 10, and if we get it right, we have to get the string. Test game or test input.
Yeah, I'm going to skip this one, but I
For now,
want
I'm
to
just gonna
rewatch the
I'm
video.
not really doing anything. Finally, I'll say if name equals to main, then run the unit test dot main. So this is just our simple setup. So if we run this now, let's say Python 3 test.py, you see that we ran one test. All right, so this is our setup. Next, what I want to do is actually take this out so I can use it in my test file. By
Yeah, you
extracting
need
it into
to
a function. So I'm just gonna say,
refactor that into a
I'm
function.
going to define our guess game, or let's call it run guess. That's going to receive a input, or let's say a guess,
I
and
guess.
it's going to run this code. So let's do that. I'm going to take this piece of code, like this, and simply paste it in here. Now, the run guess is also going to need the answer variable, so I'm going to give it a second parameter, answer, like this, so that now I can just simply, inside of here, run
You
this
pass
function with
the
guess
answer
and
and the answer.
just like that. So let's save it here and run this test, or let's just run the actual file to make sure that it's still working. Oh, and we got a bit of an indentation error, so we have to make sure that our indentation is correct, because remember in Python, that means something. All right, now we have an issue. We have a break outside of loop, because, well, we're using the break keyword, and, well, we're outside of a loop right now. So one thing we can do is we can say return here. So let's run that again, and keep guessing a name, or a number, and there you go. This is still working. I'm able to use return here because this, well, is going to run and return, but now we're still inside of the game. So maybe we can just return true, and say if run guess is true, we're going to break out of this. Again, let's start our game. I'm going to just clear this, and
Yeah,
run
it's the
game again.
same thing.
One,
You run the
two,
game
4, and there you go. I've entered a number. I'm a genius. We've just finished the game. Let's make this a little bit smaller just so you can see.
and
So we
run
have
the
our run
test.
guess. I've modified the code a bit, but the key thing is that I've extracted out a unit of functionality so that I can test something like run guess. So it looks like I've modified our code, but the code is still working. So now let's start testing our run guess function. Let's go here and start importing our script. And in here, do a few things. First, I want the answer to, let's say, equal 5. And the guess is going to equal 5. So we want to make sure that if the guess and the answer match, that, well, the run
That's
guess
going to work,
goes through the
yeah.
if statement and prints out you are a genius. Or in our case, returns true. So let's say self.assert equal that script, or actually, first time around, let's actually run it. So let's have result equals do script dot, what was it? Run guess. Run guess. And give it the answer.
The answer.
And guess.
And that's going to be the answer.
And we expect the result to return true. So we can just say assert true that the result is true. If I now run this, oh, we actually start up the game. So how can we fix this? Well, we can close this and actually add the if name main in here. So down here, we'll say, hey, only run this if this is the main file being run, just like that. If I go back to test here and run this again, all right, now it's working, but I get an assertion error. Test game object has no attribute assert true because, well, I misspelled that. Let's try that again.
Assert true.
Right. It looks like one test ran and everything is
everything is
we also see
good.
that it printed out, you are a genius. Very, very nice. By the way, I'm showing you this way of testing because this is how a real life scenario looks. You keep breaking things.
More or less.
You try and fix
Not
it, and
really
you run
that
the code. You can see
way.
our code is already looking better and better just by running these tests.
Yeah, the idea is
Let's say here,
to write the test
we're gonna copy
first
and, just
and then write in the code.
Enter the parameters in here. Like that. Let's say text input, let's say incorrect. Or wrong guess. So let's say the answer is 5 and I guess 0. So we want to assert that this is going to equal false. So if I run this, 2 tests are passing. That's awesome. What else can we test here? All right, well, we want to test that if the guess is not between 0 and 10, or between 1 and 10, in that case, we want to have a print of, hey, bozo, I said 1 to 10. So once again, I can test that if my guess, wrong number, let's say the answer is 5, but I give 11, we want to assert, well, right now we're printing and not doing anything. So maybe we should return false, just to have some consistency here. Again, if I do that and I run, there you go, 3 tests are passing. That's
and the
great.
tests are
There's
making you
more tests that
modify
we
your
run.
code in
Maybe
order
let's do
to
one
be
test,
more
which
robust
is to test
and resilient,
what if the
basically.
input is a string. If I run this, and make sure that wrong.
There are no rules
Type
to
here,
choose
everything's
what
different.
you want to
And I have 4
test.
tests running.
Basically, you just
Because this
create
is a
tests
task and
for
it's return
anything
false.
that comes to mind
There's
that
many more
may
things that we can
break
do
your
here.
problem.
You can see the power of test right now. If you have
Or
different
make it
techniques, that's
behave
what
in
everybody
a
uses.
very
The whole
hard
point of
way
testing is
to
just simply look at our code and see
make
how
it
we
run
how to
in
break
a
it,
way that
how
you
we can
cannot really
simplify our code by breaking it into smaller units,
protect,
smaller units that we can
basically.
test, and fix some errors that perhaps we wouldn't have thought of. Now, there's many more things that we can do, but you notice here how the idea was to work on small piece at a time,
Yeah.
test it, and then maybe further on, we can look at this part of the code, or maybe the try and accept part of the code. And here's the thing. When you're working for a company, I argue that there are an infinite number of tests that you can do. You can add hundreds of lines here.
Yeah.
Your code to bits. But just because you're testing as many times as possible doesn't really make your tests good. Like I said, there's an infinite number of tests that you can write. The idea is to write good quality tests that cover most of your cases, but eventually you'll have diminishing returns, where you have to have a trade-off between writing code and
writing
and sometimes
tests.
depending on what the job requires, you might have to focus more on tests and focus less on code, or sometimes you need to move fast and you don't have time to write.
I wonder if there is a unit
on the business needs,
test
that might be
job I
With
may
this section,
apply.
I hope you understand some of the
Is that a thing?
following testing in software development. That is,
Like
bugs
some
are always
kind
going to arise in
of
our code. And we can use linting
job
plus with this, but one of the best ways to make sure that our code is working properly
that people
is
can do
the more tests that we have usually means the more.
to assure
I'll see you in the next one.
the quality of the code. I wonder if there is a job like that. And that's it. That's the end of the chapter. From here onward, I don't see code on section 16. He's basically just telling us, okay, you have reached this point of the course. You may. So now what? What can you do with Python? So this is a chapter that I concluded that in chapter 16. Let me try to open this one.
Hey, you're still around. That's good news. Now,
So this is a chapter where the author tells us basically, okay, so you had learned Python, and I like, okay, what? Well, the programming language maybe, but I want to build websites. I want to get AI. I want to do data scraping, databases, mobile applications, maybe something like that. Artificial intelligence, the applications. That's what I'm interested in. So here on this chapter, he's explaining that, okay, with what we know is Python syntax. Basically, the programming language is already here. We already have that. But in order to get into the next step, we need to delve into APIs, into libraries, frameworks, and that's what he's going to begin touching in the next sections here. Getting endorsement on LinkedIn. What if I don't have a... So this is basically a coaching chapter, basically a coaching section, career of Python developer. I'm not going to stream it again. I may like to watch it once more time on my own time. But anyway, and here's where he's describing the jobs, basically. And here we are going to see scripting with Python. What can we do, etc. And here's the part where I just tried to implement the TweetPy API, but I was unsuccessful. Maybe it's fixed because I got into contact with somebody. Nah. I got in contact with someone here. And I wonder if something changed. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is where I asked for help, but I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe it's work in progress. Who knows? Anyway, so I'm going to finish the session here. There is a long break here, but I'm going to take a bath, and I'm going to wash myself, and I'm going to see Doctor Strange, to watch Doctor Strange in the cinema. Well, thank you for coming in if you indeed are, and see you later.